In the headlines today, Zazzau Emir demands deployment of armed security men to Zaria. Vice President launches first Nigerian electric car. China rejects NATO claims on systematic challenges. I'm Aisha Salihu, and here is Trust TV News Update. Emir of Zazzau Ahmed Bamali says despite presence of military formations, the emirate is overwhelmed by bandits and armed kidnappers, demanding more action from security agencies to secure the ancient city. Zaria has recorded abduction of many people recently, including 2 lecturers and 10 students of Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic. In an interview earlier, Issa Saidu, Daily Trust reporter, gives us more details on the issue. Okay, we're joining Issa Saidu, a reporter with Daily Trust in Zaria. What is the situation now?
Generally, there are Zaria residents of Zaria are in a state of fear. There is anxiety. As I said earlier, nobody is sure in Zaria who will be the next victims. Recent happenings, have indicated that the bandits have become emboldened. They are not even afraid of anybody, including the security agents. As the emir said yesterday, Zaria has military formation. These military formations ought to have given a kind of sense of sea to the rest of the military formations to many residents of no use because they have not stopped bandits from attacking, residents, abducting residents at will. As I say, there are many attacks even reported, apart from that were reported where a professor at Ahmadu Bello University was adopted, and ABU Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University professor was also adopted. Married women were adopted. People are being by the bandits. I think that was why I felt that it was necessary for him out his voice, for the authorities to do the needful. As I said, the emir yesterday made mention of many military formation. For example, we have the Nigerian Army Depot here in Zaria, from where attack of Saturday and the attack of Thursday, where from the crime scenes to the depot Nigerian Army, it is not up to 10 kilometers. People were wondering how can Ukrainians come to a place like Zaria, operated for about 3 hours without response from security agencies. If you remember, teams at Nuhu Polytechnic, they confessed that the bandits operated for over, and some of them have told us that they have made contact with the security agencies to come to their aid, but the security agents did not come until the attack. I think issues like these prompted the emir to say what he has said yesterday, and I think, according to the close sources at the palace, the emir had to do that in order to save the situation, in order to save his resident attacks.
Okay, Issa Saidu, let me just pause you right there. I'd like to ask one very quick question. I want to confirm
Sorry,
from
I
you
can't get
as
you,
the
Aisha.
man over there. I want to confirm from you directly if these bandits, these gunmen who have abducted persons from parts of Zaria, if they have reached out to the families of these abducted persons, and then what the state police command is doing in that regard. If they have reached out to them to ask for ransom, and then what is the state police command doing about that?
Well, I think if I get you are talking about what the police have done in respect to the different attacks that have taken place in Zaria. As far as we know, of late, there was no any response from the police command. What we have here in Zaria is police area command, which is in charge of local government in northern senatorial zone. To our knowledge, there was no any arrest suspects were paraded at the police area command, to our knowledge. But the team, IGP team, have recently, paraded some criminals which they have arrested in Zaria. I think they paraded them in Abuja. Uh, this is, as I said earlier, this is one of the issues that made the emir to come out to say what he has said yesterday. As I said, earlier, Zaria has many military formation. You remember, apart from military formation, there is a kind of cosmopolitan city because it has many federal parastatals, many federal institutions. There are people who are not indigenous. There are people from different parts of the country that are residing here in Zaria. So I think from the perspective of the emir, if these attacks are allowed to continue, it means that many people who are not may be attacked, and there may be interpretation. People may not think these acts of criminals. They may give it either political, religious, or ethnic interpretation. So what is happening here, as far as security is concerned, as I said earlier, some of these bandits, when they attack the others, in fact, the bandits have now, as I said earlier, they have now been emboldened. They went to the extent of calling people, prominent people.
Thank you so much, Isa Saidu, Daily Trust reporter in Zaria, for giving us an update on the situation in Zaria. We do hope to get more details from you as the story develops. Thank you. Isa Saidu, Daily Trust correspondent in Zaria. In a related development, Boko Haram has released 10 abductees, including 7 workers from non-governmental organizations, NGOs, a popular pastor from Plateau State, and 2 others. Among those released is Muazu Bawa, an indigene of Damaturu and staff of Federal University, Kashere, Gombe State. Abducted by Boko Haram militants along Damaturu-Maiduguri Way about 5 months ago. Bawa is said to have been abducted after his attempt to escape failed. His brother Abdullahi Bawa, who confirmed his release to our reporter, said they kidnapped him among other travelers on his way to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, to attend the wedding ceremony of his friend on January 2 this year. The Nasarawa State Chapter of Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, has directed its affiliate unions and civil society organizations to join the indefinite strike in the state, scheduled to commence at midnight, Tuesday, June 15th. The NLC had threatened to mobilize workers to shut down the state over the partial implementation of 30,000 naira minimum wage and other welfare-related issues. In another development, tour and Hajj operators in Nigeria will be on forced holiday following cancellation of Hajj for foreign pilgrimage by the Saudi Arabian government. Saudi Arabian Ministry of Health and Hajj had announced restriction of 2021 Muslim pilgrimage to only Saudi residents amidst ravaging COVID-19 pandemic. Coming up after the break, courts in Kano State reopens following the suspension of Judiciary Staff Union strike. Stay with us.
My name is Samuel Dada.
Yakubu Isa, ana malakabi da jeje.
Aminu Musa.
Steve Umaru. A wannan harkar ce muke dan samun abinci, an muke taimaka ma wasu da yawa.
Looking for private jobs. Sometimes you get employed and the process of payment, you undergo some kind of stress.
Welcome back. Now to more stories. Courts in Kano State have reopened following suspension of strike by Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria. State Chief Judge Justice Nura Sagir has given new practice direction outlining timelines for filing of court processes and appeals from the lower courts to the higher courts. Baba Jibo is the spokesperson of Kano State Judiciary, and he explains the law practice.
By the reason of the industrial action by the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria, known as JUSUN strike, which affected court proceedings and filing of processes in court for the period of from the 6th day of April 2021 to the 14th day of June 2021. It has become essential to make a practice direction by the Honorable Chief Judge of Kano State, Honorable Justice Nura Sagin Umar, for the to provide the guideline for the computation of time to file court processes and for the payment of default fees for extension of time for filing of processes in the Kano State High Court of Nigeria for that period. Therefore, Honorable Justice Nura Sagir Umar, the Chief Judge of Kano State, pursuant to the power conferred on him by Section 254 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and pursuant to the provisions of Order 45, Rule 4 of the Kano State High Court Civil Procedure Rules 2014 and other provisions of law in that respect, he therefore makes the following practice directions. 1. The computation of time for filing of court processes, which includes but not limited to time to file appeals from decisions of magistrate courts and Sharia courts to the High Court, and by payment of default fees for extension of time, notwithstanding the provisions of Order 45, Rule 4 of the Kano State High Court Rules 2014 on computation of time for filing of court processes or doing an act as provided by the rules and payment of default fees for extension of time thereof. The period covering the industrial action being from 6th day of April 2021 to the 14th day of June 2021 is hereby exempted by these directives. Number 2, time for filing any of the processes stated in paragraph 1 shall not be reckoned with or shall cease or be put on hold for the period of that industrial action.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo on Tuesday in Abuja launches Nigeria's first electric car. Osinbajo test drive the electric vehicle locally assembled in Nigeria to promote eco-friendly vehicles. The National Automotive Design and Development Council had unveiled the first electric car in February. Many residents in the Federal Capital Territory are increasingly crossing over the highways rather than using the assigned pedestrian bridges in spite of the danger associated with crossing the highways. In this report, Trust TV's Mardia Umar speaks to a cross-section of people on the dangers of crossing the highways.
Crossing the expressway on foot, even where there is a pedestrian bridge, is a common occurrence in Abuja, the nation's capital. Until 2012, there were few pedestrian bridges within the Abuja metropolis and some major satellite towns. But as the population of the city grew, many residents apparently worried by the loss of lives of people as they crossed the wide, busy roads, intensified the call for more pedestrian bridges to be constructed in strategic places to aid pedestrian movement. In response to the call, pedestrian bridges were built, but the majority of them, which are now open for public use, have been abandoned by some residents. A resident of Abuja, Isaac, gave reasons why he prefers not to use the pedestrian bridge.
Well, most times they're trying to catch up with maybe there's a vehicle that is waiting for them at the other side of the road and they're trying to catch up with it. And most times, maybe their junction, like their house, where it is, it's far from the pedestrian bridge. So they prefer to use the road and cross quickly instead of going down there to go and cross.
While some residents think that it is wise using the pedestrian bridges.
To me, I prefer this pedestrian bridge because this crossing of a thing is very risky, and me, I can't risk it. And I'm not even advising anybody risk their life.
It saves time, and also it's safe as in it reduces risk, because by the time you stand on the express roads you want to cross, well, you waste more time. You have to be waiting for the cars to pass, and if you are in a haste, you'll be delaying yourself.
Crossing over the highway comes with a lot of risk, though many people find it convenient. Mardia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Tamburawa town in Dawakin Kudu local government area is the new location for the siting of the proposed gas industrial layout under the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano AKK pipeline project. Kano State Information Commissioner Mohammed Garba said the State Executive Council gives the approval to the AKK pipeline project Delivery and Gas Industrialization Committee to set up its planning location at Tamburawa adjacent to Chalawa Waterworks, where the terminal gas station is proposed to be built. Katsina State Governor Aminu Masari is quoted by media reports as saying that at the end of his tenure in 2023, he will retire from active politics. The tradition among second-term governors is to seek a Senate seat, a ministerial appointment, or contest in the presidential race. His Kano State counterpart, Abdullahi Ganduje, however, is reported to have said he will be active in politics even after office. Most governors play the role of godfathers in politics, exercising enormous influence on appointments into party or government's position. To understand why Governor Masari decided to be passive in politics when he retires, let's join Tijani Ibrahim, Daily Trust reporter in Katsina State. We're now being joined by Tijani Ibrahim, Daily Trust reporter in Katsina State. Tijani, you're well aware that Governor Bello Aminu Masari of Katsina State has said it that come 2023, by the end of his tenure, he is going to be retiring from active politics. And then, do you think the statement he has made is as a result of perhaps maybe there is a sudden decline of his popularity in the state? Or what else? What is your take on this?
I think the governor was clear when he made that statement. He gave three distinct reasons why he is no longer interested in any elective office beyond May 29, 2023. One of them, he said he was in the State House of Assembly and he was Speaker for 4 years. So he has no interest in going back to National Assembly either as a senator or a member of the House of Reps. The other reason he said he was Deputy National Chairman of the APC when it was formed, so he has no interest in any party office. The third reason is about the presidency. He said he believes it's not fair for any man to be eyeing for the seat of the president around 2023 because he says the state has had its fair share. President Buhari is head of state, who was the other head of state in the past, 1983-85, and he's now democratically elected president. And within his 30 years of interregnum, the state also produced a late President Umar Musa. So for that reason, he said it's unfair for any man from Katsina to be eyeing the seat in the near future. So these are the three distinct reasons he said why he may not be interested in going back to any elections beyond 2023. And remember, just about 2 weeks ago or so, the governor celebrated his 71st birthday, which means by 2023 he will be 73. So probably age factor could be one of the reasons why he said he's not going to be contesting for any electable.
Tijani Ibrahim, you just reiterated about three reasons the governor gave as excuse why he may not be part of active politics come 2023 after the end of his tenure. But then it's common practice by politicians that by the end of their tenure as former governors, especially former governors, they play the role of godfathers to whoever their successors would be. Don't you think the governor is somewhat contradicting himself, if at all he has plans to groom successors and then also play the role of godfather? That alone also means that he's still going to be part of active politics. Don't you think there is somewhat contradiction here? I'd like you to clear that for us, please.
Well, the governor was recently asked if whether he has started working towards who will succeed him in 2023, and he said yes, he's working towards his party APC to succeed him in the seat. So that, and in the past, before then, there was a time he said he's not going to support anybody and any individual to succeed in, because he said there is not any governor in the federation that is succeeded by somebody and they are still in good terms. So for that reason, he said he cannot be putting anybody just to protect his interests. So, and then subsequently he said he will be working for his party to succeed him. So for that reason, this could be some political statement, but this is what the governor came out clearly to state publicly. So actually, for the time being, only when it is close to 2023, maybe we'll begin to know where the governor is trying to show his way.
You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Stories from the international scenes and sports arena are coming up your way after this break. Stay with us.
My name is Samuel Dada.
Yakubu Isa, ana malakabi da jeje.
Aminu Musa.
Stephen Umaru. A wannan harkar ce muke dan samun abinci, an muke taimaka ma wasu da yawa.
Looking for private jobs. Sometimes you get employed and at the process of payment, you undergo some kind of stress.
Chinese authorities say they are committed to a defense policy that is defensive in nature, insisting that its pursuit of defense and military modernization is justifiable, open and transparent. The Chinese mission to the European Union said this in reaction to NATO's claim on systematic challenge, saying the claim represents a continuation of Cold War mentality. And now to sports. Germany coach Joachim Löw says his under-fire team are keen to prove themselves in their opening Euro 2020 fixture against world champions France. Germany are under pressure to perform at Munich's Allianz Arena in Tuesday's eagerly anticipated Group F clash against France, who are among the favorites for the title. And on this note, we come to the end of Trust TV News Update. Follow us on all of our social media handles for more news. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thanks for joining us.